Interview Coder has revolutionized coding interviews. We just saw Meta actually changing their coding interviews that allows you to use AI during the interviews. I am at Cluely office again. Now we have new person in the Cluely team, Abdullah. So hi Roy. How did you meet Abdullah and what's the next mission with Interview Coder? What is something you would like to add to the Silicon Valley culture, which is in China and missing in Silicon Valley?
What I think is like anywhere in the world, I think good companies work really hard.
If you say you are cheating on everything,
Yeah.
Where does learning happen? How did you meet Abdullah and what's the next mission with Interview Coder?
Yeah, I guess 9 months ago when Neil and I were both back when we were in school and debating whether we even wanted to do a company, we were just chilling at Founders Inc., which is like this workspace they have for founders here. And there I met Abdullah, and he was like always there late at night, and he was working on some random it was like this Ninja Tools tech thing. I just thought he was I just thought he was like pretty technical, very hardworking. He's like ambitious, he's like an immigrant, he's got that immigrant grit. And then when we were doing Cluely, we sort of put Interview Coder aside, and Abdullah texted us, hey, would you like me to be the CEO of Interview Coder and take up that project? Because we thought Interview Coder was just going to be completely neglected. Then immediately our thought was oh wow, that's such an interesting idea. Of course we would want that. If we're just gonna let Interview Coder go to shit anyways, we might as well have someone run it. Maybe there's something here. And Abdullah's he's a good founder. He's very agentic. He can do all the work from engineering to marketing. There's almost nobody I've met in my life who can do that.
Wow.
He's very hardworking,
Yeah, I mean, I was blown away. He sleeps here as well. It's just mind blowing.
Sleeps in the garage.
Yeah, last 2 months, lock in, and then there's so many things to do, and then don't want to disappoint him, but I don't want to wake up in the morning and said oh man, I found an asshole. I really don't want him to think that way. And then,
And I mean, last question would be, you guys have so many haters. What would you want to say to the haters?
I feel we don't even have that many haters, honestly.
Really?
Me, it's just very concentrated in tech, but in reality, you walk outside, there's nobody that comes up and says, hey, you're the guys, nobody cares in the real world. I don't know. What color is your SF office, bro? I guess, bro. I don't know. I feel we really don't have any haters though. There's
No, same stuff that Roy like about how we met him. But I will say Abdullah is one of the most hardworking guys I've ever met. In the Cluely office, I'll come up at 5 a.m. and then Abdullah will always be working until 6 a.m. every day.
Oh wow.
Our hardest working guy in the Cluely office, I would say.
Okay, awesome. And any future plans you can expect with Cluely, any big releases coming that people should be excited for?
Yes.
Yes?
AI resume generator. So the vision for Interview Coder is a newly established vision. It's going to be like Cluely, but for all interviews. Cluely is going to be this general purpose interface for anybody to use. But we realize there's very strong verticals here. Interview Coder is already a super strong vertical and a use case of this undetectable window. And we're pretty sure it's going to be for everything. We already have so much website traffic from people who want to crack interviews. Those people obviously need better resumes. I mean, they're retarded enough to be going on interviewcoder.com instead of studying LeetCode. So they might as well they probably need resume help. They probably need a bunch of other help. So we're gonna make it the full suite. Maybe one day we'll take over LinkedIn. Maybe.
Interview Coder has revolutionized coding interviews. We just saw Meta actually changing their coding interviews that allows you to use AI during the interviews. And we today have the CEO currently of Interview Coder. Roy has appointed him. And most importantly, we'll talk about because he left his job at ByteDance and Tencent. He worked in China. Now he quit all of those opportunities to work in the Bay Area as CEO. Hi, Abdullah. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah. First, really glad to talk with you. My name is Abdullah, and currently I'm running the product Interview Coder. I graduated from Shenzhen University in 2021. After then, I worked at TikTok for around 2 years in China, in Shenzhen. After then, I came to Silicon Valley for building a startup. After then, I built a bunch of consumer SaaS products. Just recently, talk with Roy, and then takeovers product interview code.
First of all, I want to talk about your journey and ByteDance and TikTok, because no one talks about what's going on in China, because it's inspiring Silicon Valley very much. What is the culture like there?
How to say? I think I studied in Shenzhen University, computer science major. When I was in third year of school, I interned at Tencent and then Alibaba. And then after I graduate, I joined TikTok. TikTok is a product of a company, ByteDance. ByteDance is like Maz company, just like Alphabet for Google, right? Like, yeah. And then, okay, like in terms of work culture, I think China like works extremely hard. So 996 is a very common culture there. And then, but what I can see from Silicon Valley right now is that like some company, especially Cluely, works 007. Like we live inside company, and then everything's inside company. For a very long time, I didn't figure out what days they will take rest. Just that level. But
because you guys live here, sleep here, they provide the housing. Yeah, it's incredible.
But like good vibe, yeah. So what I think is like, I never been the big tech of in America, but what I think is like anywhere in the world, I think good companies work really hard.
100%. I mean, when I was living in China, in Shenzhen, I mean, I'm still living there quite a while. So I see trains, peak time. There's a peak rush. Like in the US, it's at 5 p.m. In Shenzhen, there is peak rush at 6 p.m. and at 9 p.m. Because a lot of people get off at 9 p.m., a lot of people get off at 6. It's crazy. Trains are crowded at 9 and 6 p.m. And they are very inspiring, working really, really hard. So Silicon Valley runs on the principles of mission obsession. People are obsessed with the mission. For example, Cluely, they're obsessed with cheating for everything. What mission drives companies like Tencent, ByteDance, TikTok?
Of course, like let's say, like they have their own mission, right? Like for TikTok, where I worked full time for 2 years, what they said is we will enrich the creativity. So that's like what the whole company is doing is that making the creative like easier with CapCut, like TikTok, and then like their whole products based on that their mission. And then let's say like for companies in Silicon Valley, I think of course like Cluely, like it's sad like cheat on everything, but basically what the company is doing is that helping AI get into every single level of their people's lives.
100%.
Yeah. So I think the main difference, like Chinese companies mostly just for the like China, except the TikTok. TikTok is their like first can say like very well known international company, but Silicon Valley like from the day one they start for the global, like they start globally.
I see. Because so you think the major difference is like to enrich creativity first locally in China, and expanding globally is the second step. The first step is just to fit the market of China, but in the US you straight cater to the global audience.
Because like what China is like, they have their like different social medias, and then a lot of things are like very different. They don't use Twitter, they don't use YouTube, all kinds of social media. So for them, like they can like first they can like serve their own countries, people. Yeah.
And what is something you would like to add to the Silicon Valley culture, which is in China and missing in Silicon Valley?
I think working hard can be can be added, but yeah, working hard. I think like whole Chinese principle is that it's just work really hard, and then they take over one industry. That's what they're doing. Also, companies, the country actually support the companies a lot. Like more, let's say, like they have like 5 years plan or 10 years plan. We will take over the auto car industry. That's what they are doing, right? That's what they did. It's like very different country system. The country like 5 years or 10 years plan. They come up with a plan like we will go for that direction. Nearly all the companies go for that direction and take over that industry. That's what China is like good at, and that's what China is like is doing. But it's like very different from, let's say, like America is like fully capitalism and China is like different. So yeah.
Got it. Okay, now your journey with Interview Coder. So what we can see is with Interview Coder, as you started, Interview Coder has helped 30,000 plus students nail their interviews and crack jobs at Meta, Google, Amazon, etc. It was failing at Amazon's Chime app because big tech is catching up with these AI cheating tools. So do you think Interview Coder is catching up to big tech?
Like first there are 90,000, 87,000 technically speaking, 87,000. We helped 87,000 like people, mostly students, getting their jobs.
Wow.
Okay, like, yeah, and second point, if it comes to like undetectability, the thing is, let's say for the websites apps, like Amazon Chime, like in terms of like let's say Amazon Chime website, I don't know whether how's their website, any kind of website they cannot do it because in terms of security, the browser doesn't allow one website to detect a desktop app to see whether one desktop app is running or not. And then
so you're safe for all the web apps.
Yeah, like because of sandbox, right? Like technically speaking, we can talk much more, but we have wrote a very detailed article about why we're undetectable on our website. And then for desktop apps, their latest Zoom can detect it, but as long as you set it up, just like you have to configure one button, you're good to go.
So you have written the steps, given the steps on the Interview Coder website.
Right.
So you guys are totally untraceable.
Right. And then even though they come up with the latest software, maybe like okay, let's say come up with one solution. Technically, I don't think they can do unless they change the kernel level kind of stuff. We can come up with something again, and then their older version of software will always be there, just like iPhone, like say like iPhone 4, like I guess 17 right now. 16 still exists, 15 still exists, 14 still exists. So technically speaking, we are undetectable. We are very safe.
Wow. So what is the next step with Interview Coder? So you guys are already untraceable right now. Where else you want to make an impact?
First, I think we are just getting started. Let's say like only for the coding interview, I think we can do a lot of things. Let's say like we are adding audio feature. We are thinking of adding audio, and then makes app the experience much more better. And also, like as you can see, in my perspective, any interview related to like make people remember things should not exist.
I mean, that's a very controversial take.
Yeah.
I'm going to repeat, like, if you say you are cheating on everything, where does learning happen? Look, if we have calculator, we still learn how to calculate.
Right.
If we have ChatGPT write, we still learn how to write.
Right.
If we have like speakers, we still learn how to speak.
You're right.
So where does learning happen?
What I mean is, look, AI is coming. And then at this point of time, you should not test a person making that person remember things. You can test so many things. You can test creativity. You can test, let's say for coding interview, one programmer, you can just ask what is his like hardest problem he solved. Even though he did a to-do list app, there are so many things that a good programmer can does that better. Let's say performance. Let's say speed, like all kind of stuff. Like actually, like so many things you can test. What I think is LeetCode. Those are things like they just filter. They are lazy, and then they come up with very good filter LeetCode. And and then with AI right now, it's like semantic, like kind of like semantic study, like they are filtering resumes, and the students are coming up with AI and then acing it, like solving it. I think it's very fair.
100%. Wow. So your goal with Interview Coder is to make humans more creative so that they can solve problems related to creativity, UX, UI, the problems that AI cannot solve properly.
You're right.
Got it. You are, of course, unleashing human beings, but at the same time, it's important for students out there to remember core concepts are still to be learned.
Of course.
And they cannot skip with Interview Coder.
Of course.
So what skills you still recommend people to learn?
Of course, like good programming skills. I feel like programming is like extremely important, even though like like it said like AI taking over, vibe code, all kind of stuff. We still need a very experienced developer. Even on Twitter, all kind of places you saw like vibe coding, like 90% of code like written by AI, but 10% is very important.
100%.
If you go to their website, they're like 300K, starting from 300K, finding a good engineer. Yeah, so like there are so many things to do, but like you just like let's say like they just come up with a good project idea, like just solve any problem as an engineer, or like build your own startup. That's what I hope and what I recommend.
What is that unconventional path that led you to Cluely?
Oh man. I started when I was in China, when I was 2023, before 2023 April I came to United States. Even before I came to United States, I built startup before. We built like dating site, like we did really well in our region, in Uyghur region. And then the reason why I came to United States, like I want to build a startup, hopefully a company that like generational company. I think that kind of thing only possible in the United States, in the Silicon Valley, in San Francisco. So I, at that time, I was like 26 years old. I am 28 years old right now. At that time, I told myself, there might be 1% that I can build a good startup company, and then I will try startup for 4 years until 30 years old. Okay, like if I were in 30 years old, I cannot do anything. I will go to military or like do like let's say like go to school. But before that, I don't go to school. Just like fuck it, I don't go to master's students, all kind of stuff. Go to PhD. That's what people recommend. You have to go. You have to come to school. You have to go to school. You have to learn American culture. You have to speak good English. That's what they all told me. And then that's correct. That's right. But in my heart, I really want to do startup. And then I believe that this is best time to do startup, build anything. AI is coming, and then, so I try so many projects, like more than 20, much more projects, like so many failures, and then also my English is not that much good, you know.
No, it's pretty good, really good.
Thank you. It's still improving, and then don't have that much money. So the thing like so there are so many advantages, and then what I figure out is that, even though I'm not good at the things that kind of, a lot of things, but there are some of things I'm good at, like some of disadvantages I can make it advantage. Let's say I stayed in China for so long time. They built everything apps. Okay, I built and called the Ninja tools, which is like aggregator of all the AI tools, which is like kind of everything app. I am very good at that because in China I saw so many everything app. That's how it works. In Silicon Valley, they build for a very specific niche and make it as best.
That is so. That's the biggest shortcoming here. That's so true.
You're right.
WeChat is for everything. A lot of AI tools. One AI tool is good for search. One is for reasoning. One is for other problems.
You're right. And then also another thing is that, okay, my English is very bad, and then I cannot do B2B products because I have to talk to those people like CEOs, all kind of executives to explain my product. Like how come those kind of people buy from a person who even cannot speak English well and then come from a random places? So I built B2C apps. And then after then, like don't have that much money, and then we build a hacker house, we sell these in houses. So what I mean is like, I really want to do startup, and then along the way, I got so much depressed, I got so many disadvantages, but along the way, I figured out, and then those disadvantages become my advantages. Let's say we build hacker house. Like right now, I have connection nearly across all country. Any city I go, like 0 people I remember, that I can go to their houses, and then even I can stay there, because, and like a lot of people visiting the SF, we are like making them stay for free, and then met so many people, and also like build B2C apps right now, like. B2C apps like Gold Rush, you know, just one random, like very single feature, and with TikTok videos, short form videos. So what I think is, if you want to do one thing and then you're really determined about it, I think, and then one period of time, not 4 months, but 4 years, you can do it.
What is the biggest skill you have learned that led you to Interview Coder as CEO now?
First, I was CEO before. Like, the thing is, I built another things before. Those products never been like Interview Coder level, but a lot of things like very similar. B2C products, you know how to distribute, like those kind of things. So I think if you do things like along the way, you'll figure out, and then some good things will happen. I think, yeah, that's what I think.
If we go back in your history, what's the biggest impact you have made? Whether it's your B2C products or whether it's right now you work at Interview Coder, what are you most proud of?
First, I think how to say, let's say for Interview Coder, we pushed a bunch of new updates, and then what Interview Coder does is not only like making people cheat during the interview. We are all in the creativity of like creativity of the computer science students. What if they not grind LeetCode, but build real projects? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter like earns money or not. Along the real project, like with a real project, you can learn more. When I was in Shenzhen University, I built a project called Uber for Umbrella. Basically, we just match the ones who doesn't have the umbrella and have the umbrella.
Uber for umbrella. So because it rains a lot there, so
yeah, it rains so much.
So it's like a dating app, you're saying. So
It's like a dating app. We just like started like, you know, like it's just a Uber for umbrella. Let's say, because it's like inside one university, like 30,000 students in that one campus, and then a lot of students, let's say from engineering building to their dorm room, like a lot of people share the same route, right? And then we just match the ones who has umbrella with the ones who doesn't have umbrella. At that time, I just did this for fun. But it turned out a few of my friends found their girlfriends from there.
wow, because they were under the same umbrella.
Yeah. So that's very stupid project.
The literal umbrella, not
real
metaphorical.
Umbrella. No, real umbrella. And then like, that's a very stupid idea. That's a very stupid project. But that's like, I learned like first time at the project, like database, all kind of stuff. So what I mean is like, I hope the people like just build random projects. And then maybe if they're lucky enough to just put the one Stripe link, maybe they can make it startup.
What is the difference between being an entrepreneur in China versus the US?
Oh man, how to say? Oh yeah, like in China there are so many regulation stuff you have to consider, but in America, like it's like you are free. And then in America, I think like money is much more available, whole capital. And then in America, like much more encouraging.
I heard that in Shenzhen University in the US, I've heard, so in terms of research, I've heard something which you may disagree on. Dan Wang said that in some research universities in China, it's more easy to get funding than the US. Funding for research is more easily accessible in research. Is that true in Shenzhen University? Dan Wang said that in his book Breakneck. Dan Wang.
First, I'm sorry, I don't know that person, but like
he lived in China for 5 years.
Maybe because of the recent policy, like for the research right now, like Trump, like let's say like the defunding, right? Some research, all kind of stuff. But what I know for startups, America is like the whole world's capital is here in San Francisco, and then it's like much more encouraging. In San Francisco, if you say, I want to build a like 10K or like 100K monthly app, nobody interested in you. But if you say, I want people don't die, I want to go to Mars, that kind of stuff, very crazy stuff, people listen to you, people might give money to you. This is that kind of place.
And talking about the capital, the VC capital in Bay Area that is in the hands of venture capitals is 50 times the capital with VCs in Canada. That's the power here.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You're right.
15 times.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So any final advice for people? How can they make best use of Interview Coder and what can they expect?
First first Meta, like Google Europe, they all changing how they interview. And then for the OA, for the LeetCode interviews, we're pretty much confident. So what I hope is that just do real projects, be real good at programming, solving any problem, and then with AI. Because AI is already here, you should use it. You cannot, you should be pro AI. You should not say, you should not say AI is like taking jobs, all kind of stuff. AI is creating jobs. AI is making difference. AI is maybe producing 90% of code, but 10% is really important.
100%.
You're right.
And join as many meetups as possible. Even in China, there are so many cursor meetups.
Yeah.
In Bay Area, there are so many cursor meetups.
You're right.
Like cursor meetups are so amazing. You discuss the hacks, how you can code even faster. Even using cursor the right way with memory bank, I've made a video about it. You can expand your learnings and learn while you code with cursor or these vibe coding tools. So make sure you make a system how you can still learn while using these vibe coding tools, and approve every single file one by one, not like 10 files at once, because that way you're not learning.
You're right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abdullah. Great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.